Greetings, travelers. I'm Midwestern Viking, and welcome back. Feel free to grab your deck, pass the popcorn, and pull up a chair. Let's get started. Hey guys. So, today I wanted to talk a little bit about a movie me and my partner went to see called Obsession. It is the newest horror movie written, directed, and edited by Curry Barker. And I think I pronounced that name right. If not, please forgive me. But it was so much better than I expected, and I had high expectations. It stars Indy Narette as Nikki. I believe that's how you say her name. Again, I may be wrong, if so, I apologize. Michael Johnston as Bear is the other lead, and both of them did a fantastic job. This movie, uh, it was really creepy. It was creepy as hell. And from the acting and some of the awkwardness, there was such a tonal change. I could go on and on about so many things, but a few things I want to point out is the effects. From what I could tell, it was all practical effects, camera effects, lighting. It was fantastic. They found some way to give Nikki this uncanny valley kind of feel when she was, how do we put it, not herself without giving away too much. The soundtrack and the sound in general was awesome. There was this huge discrepancy between, like, hear a pin drop silence and this like deep bass, uh just kind of guttural feeling background sound, and it worked phenomenally. uh the two main stars, tell a little bit about them. Nikki plays the love interest of Bear. Love interest, I should say. He has a crush on her. It appears like she doesn't. There's a little bit of debate about that. I'm on the side that she doesn't have a crush on him. Get into why later during the spoiler parts. But she commands the loud moments, screaming, yelling in your face, like moments where you're like, oh goodness. Demands the screen. Can I give her enough praise? I was like, oh wow. Uh, then you have the other main lead, Bear, who's played by Michael Johnston, and he commanded the more subtle moments, the quiet moments. And things can be said about both of those. Like, if one, without one, you can't have the other in this kind of movie, and they both did such a phenomenal job. The jump scares in this didn't feel cheap or fake. It felt very well done and placed at very specific moments and very believable. It wasn't just like bang, loud pot noise falls because, ooh, paranormal activity. No, this was deliberate, and I really, really can't say how much that means to me. I hate just cheap jump scares. I think it's unnecessary, but this was done phenomenally. Um, I cannot give enough credit to Curry Barker and what he did with this movie, and the actors in this movie, and the sound team, and the lighting team, all of it, all around fantastic. If you get the opportunity to watch this, if it's still in a theater near you, please go support this. We need more original pieces like this. So let's get a little more into spoilers now. You start off with Bear. He's in a diner, and it is just on him. The camera's on him. You don't see anything in the background, and he's giving this monologue, pouring his heart out to this other soul. And then you see some people in the background, and think that was, I know that was intentional. That's not what I mean to say. I think that is kind of telling later and might get into that. Depends on how much of the movie I talk about. Turns out he's not spilling his heart out to this woman, Nikki, that we haven't met yet. He's spilling it out to this woman who is a waitress, and his what we come to know is, I think they're best friends, Ian. They work together, and Ian's basically telling him, you kind of got to shit or get off the pot. You know, tell this girl how you feel about her. He's really pushing him to get it out of the way. Almost, I felt like too much pushing. Like, why is this such a big deal for him? So, anyways, they talk about trivia night, and that's kind of where he wants to do it. He asks Ian to kind of like step aside, and Ian's like, no, it's the one thing in the week I look forward to. We all go to trivia night. And all, meaning Ian, Sarah, who we'll get to, Nikki, and Bear. And so fast forward to trivia night, they're all there, they're having a good time or whatever. Um, and there are a few drinks had, and at the end of the night, Bear offers to take Nikki home. So he takes Nikki home. They're chatting and whatnot. He had said at one point, I got you something. That reminds me. He stopped by the store to get a gift for Nikki, and as he was looking around, there was what he thought was a gag gift called a One Wish Willow. You break it, you make a wish, you know. And so he's there, and at this point, we have noticed Bear's really awkward. Um, I kind of think like that nice guy incel, like he's super nice to this girl. He is probably considering himself friend zoned. I got that vibe from the jump. Maybe a little sympathetic. A younger version of me might have saw a little bit of myself in him, but he gave me the ick almost right off the bat. And that's really divisive apparently online, I've noticed. So they're talking, and as she goes to leave, he's trying to tell her something, and uh she keeps going like, come on. And she point blank bluntly asks him, do you like me? Because now is the time to tell me. And he can't do it. He chickens out, and he's frustrated with himself, and he's angry. And I think he kind of punched the steering wheel or whatever. He grabbed his bag out of the back, and the One Wish Willow is there. He opens it, breaks the One Wish Willow, and says, I wish Nikki loved me more than anybody in the entire fucking world. And then she pops back up, and she's like, you said you had something for me. And he's like, oh, yeah, I think I forgot it. You know, he makes an excuse because he just broke what he got her. And she has changed significantly from the Nikki that we met. Um, she doesn't, she's not treating him like a little kid brother kind of thing, which is kind of the vibe I got from her when it came to him. And she's trying to make these excuses for him to come inside or for her to go to his house. And then she says, my dad has cancer and he's dying. Can I just please sleep at your house? And they go to his house, and, you know, laying, she's laying in bed. He's going to lay on the couch or the floor because nice guy. And she's like, please, no, I don't want to be alone. I think it'll help me sleep or whatever. Fast forward, uh, he winds up sleeping next to her, or laying next to her in the bed. He's like smiling because, you know, oh, in the bed with Nikki, it's what he's wanted. So things kind of progress pretty quickly. It's at least been 2 weeks because earlier we had found out she had put her 2 weeks notice in at the job all four of them worked at. Yeah, that's another thing. They all work together. And so she doesn't work there. So we know it's been at least 2 weeks. And apparently she's like just staying there full time now. And all seems well and good. We get to a scene where they're at a restaurant, and Bear gets a phone call from Ian, and Ian is telling him, hey, I don't know what's up with Nikki, but something's weird. She lied about her dad. Her dad's perfectly fine, fit as a fiddle. I don't know what's up. And uh, so when Bear asks her, "Hey, did you lie about your dad?" She flips her lid. I think I don't remember exactly what she starts screaming, but it's something like, "No, no, we were having a nice dinner," and she's screaming this in the restaurant. Very, very, off-putting. And he's like, "No, it's okay. We are." And they go back. So after this dinner scene, there is immediately followed a sex scene, and it is very off-putting. Looks like they're having sex or whatever, but as it shows Nikki, and trigger word here, it not I won't use the word. It looks like she's being forced. She is laying there cold, lifeless, a dead stare, and that's not something that is typical with people who are in love and who, you know, a consensual fun encounter. That is somebody who doesn't want to be there, wants to be gone, or is forced to be there. And it's kind of getting a little more obvious bit by bit. This is not Nikki. Um, or something is very wrong with her, one of the two. Kind of goes through a little more. Friends from work being like, we don't know if it's her taking advantage of you or you taking advantage of her, but something's afoot and it just doesn't seem right. Then he wakes up to her watching him sleep, and it is one of the most creepy scenes. She's moving very awkwardly. There's a scene she takes a flower pot and hides it in front of her face and kind of shuffles around in the same scene, and it's very odd. Uh, then the scene that they show us where he goes to work after their dinner, he had said he wanted to be a food critic. And earlier in the movie, his cat had died, and that was kind of a way of, I think, trying to give us sympathy for him and foreshadowing. Uh, the cat had gotten into some pills that apparently were his grandmother's, I think, and had died, and cleaned that up. Uh, so I mentioned the scene where he goes to work. She had packed him a lunch, and when she packed him a lunch, she, he goes to leave, and the door is just like multiple rows of duct tape tried to keep her shut to keep him from leaving, and which is really weird. I have thoughts about that. I think that was the real Nikki trying to speak through new Nikki, if that makes sense. Um, I'm trapped in here, you're trapped in here. Maybe not. Maybe it's too much into it. Maybe it was just her being super obsessive and clingy. But I thought maybe it might be influenced. So he finally like peels the door open and leaves. And while he's talking to his friend Sarah at work, he takes a bite of the sandwich, and Sarah sees the lid and she's like, "What's this mean?" And it said, "How's the cat?" She cooked his cat and put it in a sandwich for him. He gets sick. She says, "I don't get it." He says it's an inside joke. And he keeps doing this. He keeps covering it. He keeps covering it. He keeps covering. And things get weirder and weirder and weirder. And for anybody who found Bear sympathetic, thought, he might be a victim in this because it was a wish, he never would have thought it was real. There is a moment, and I'm kind of skipping around here, and I probably won't go into too much more detail, but there is a moment where he decides enough is enough, and he calls the customer service number on the back of the One Wish Willow, and he asks about the wish. But when he asks about the wish, he does not say, "Can I cancel the wish? Can we make this go away?" He asks, "Can I alter the wish?" Which to me shows just how manipulative and conceited and just how much of a predator he really is. Because he's not asking for her sake. This wish isn't exactly what he wanted. There are things about her he doesn't like, so he wants to change her to be more like what he thought of when he thought of the wish. The guy on the other end of the line, who is also voiced by the director, uh, basically says, "Yeah, we can't really do adjustments to a wish." Then he tries to cancel it. Only after every avenue is exhausted, he tries to cancel it. And the guy's like, "No, we don't really do that either." And then he asks to talk if he wants to talk to Nikki. He's like, "Talk to Nikki." And the voice on the line puts what we assume is the real Nikki on the phone, and she is screaming. Guttural, just ear shattering screams. And it's wild. Um it, it it's it's very disturbing. Um, I'm debating on if I should go more into it. I might as well. I really liked this movie. So Ian had talked to Bear about how bad this looked and how things were. He was having a party. Found out through Sarah, I believe, is how he found out. But he didn't invite Bear. They're supposed to be best friends. Bear was a little upset. And Ian had said, "What you and Nikki got going on is kind of weird, so I didn't invite y'all. But I can invite you. You can't bring her. You can tell her it's just a guy's night." And Bear's kind of eh. And then when he got home, he had called about the One Wish Willow or whatever. Uh, so he goes in, and while he's gone, she has not moved from the spot when he left. She is covered in urine and vomit and feces and looks just terrible. He says he's going to go to the party. Uh, she's not having that. There are some triggering scenes for people. Um, Very kind of domestic triggering things, if I had to guess, is the way to word that. Um, what else? So I go to the party, and they're playing this like party game with these giant Jenga blocks. One guy pulls one, says switch places with someone. He switches places with Bear to sit next to Nikki. And that puts Bear next to Sarah, who we've come to learn has kind of a thing for Bear, but not like an obsessive kind of thing. Like it seems like real genuine feelings, not just like lonesome feelings, if that makes sense. And then it's Bear's turn. Bear pulls a block, kiss the person to your left. Guess who's sitting there? It is Sarah. Almost forgot. Before this, Nikki had pulled a block. I don't remember exactly what it said on it, but she decided to tell a story she wrote. And it was a very incestuous story about Hansel and Gretel. And it seemed very targeted to Bear as well. I don't know if there's supposed to be a part of Nikki coming through there, like original Nikki or this other version of Nikki. It was very creepy, and it, like I said, it seemed very targeted at Bear. So back to this block. He pulls the block, and Nikki very aggressively stands up and goes over, grabs the chair that Sarah's in, slowly pulls it back, and then goes up next to him and gets down on her knees and puckers up for a kiss, so he has to be who she kisses. And it is wild. Um, so from there, you know, things aren't very well, obviously. Things are pretty bad. And he's laying in bed with Nikki. He's laying on his back. She's like right here, kind of cuddled up next to him. And he is getting text messages from Sarah. She's at a park by his house, says they need to talk. And while he's texting her, she's saying, "If you don't come to me, I'm gonna come knock on your door." He knows that's bad. He's seen what Nikki does. He knows that nothing good will come of that. So he decides he's gonna go. Before he leaves, Nikki starts speaking in her sleep. This isn't the Nikki we know currently. This is the real Nikki. She's asking Bear to kill her. and it's rather heartbreaking. We've been used to this loud, boisterous, in your face Nikki, and the real Nikki comes through, and she's broken, and she's in pain, and she asks Bear to put her out of her misery. And then, the like, I don't know what to say about this, but it's so angering. When he's laying there, he says, "What's so bad about being with me?" My jaw almost hit the floor. What the fuck do you mean? And then Nikki responds and says, "I've never been with you, Bear." He doesn't act surprised. He acts disappointed. So fast forward to when he sneaks out to go talk to Sarah. And they're talking, and he tells her Nikki's been sleeping with Ian on and off for a couple years. And she doesn't know what Nikki's doing, but it's not good. And they have a little moment where they kind of flirt. And then out of nowhere, which, I mean, it's telegraphed, you expect it, but it's still so effective. Out of nowhere, Nikki comes in like a bat out of hell, smashes her head through the window, in one swift movement, puts a brick against the steering wheel, and just bam, 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 smashes Sarah's head in. It's extremely effective, an excellently placed jump scare, and that's where it goes from here all the way up to 11, and it doesn't stop until the end. So from there, uh, they have to figure out what to do with the body, and Nikki's like, "Don't worry, I got this," whatever. I don't remember exactly how she words that. She's acting like it's fine. Bear's not acting like someone in that scenario would react to me, which just kind of further cements like this dude is the villain of this movie. Sure, New Nikki is bad, but Bear is a villain. He is not a victim. So he goes back to the store where he got the One Wish Willow. He's looking for it, can't find it. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing selling these to people?" Da, da, da. And the guy's like, "Did you try reversing the wish or whatever?" And he hands him the thing, and the guy goes, "I can't do it. I already made my wish." And he seems fine. Nothing wrong with him, which tells you that people can make wishes and be okay. Like, he seems nothing wrong with him. And it seems like at a loss of what to do, he buys a few One Wish Willows, goes to Ian's house, tells Ian everything that's going on, and Ian's kind of calling him crazy. What are you doing? Uh, oh, something I forgot to mention. At the party, after she got her kiss, she broke a wine bottle, I think it was, or beer bottle, and started stabbing herself in the face with it. And Bear just kind of sat there and didn't do anything to help her. Um, Again, villain, like I said. So he's telling Ian all this, and Ian's basically kind of brushing him off. And he goes, "Fine, you want me to make a wish?" Cracks the One Wish Willow, says, "I wish I had $1 billion." Starts raining from his roof. And Bear realizes he missed his chance. He can't fix this unless he kills himself, which is what the guy on the phone said. Goes back home. Sarah's dead body is sitting there. And Nikki asks if he likes her now. She is lost. This Nikki has lost it even more so than she did. Um, I believe she had Sarah's face on, if I remember correctly, like peeled it off. I may be wrong. Uh, I think I'm wrong. I expected that because the face was messed up, but that was because it was bashed in. He says he needs to take a shower and whatnot. And while they're arguing, Ian comes in. "We're rich, we're rich, I have $1 billion. Da da da." Boom. Nikki shoots him in the fucking head. And Bear's basically like, "Yes, we're happy, we're lovely, da da da, this, that, and the other." He goes to the bathroom, telling her he just needs to take a shower. And then they can do whatever. And he sees the pills that killed his cat. And what I thought might be a redeeming moment. The moment where he's like, I'm going to free her. Not a redeeming moment. It wouldn't have redeemed him. But trying to be better maybe is the best way to put that. He takes the pills, swallows all of them, and sits down in the tub. And he sits there for a moment. And that was supposed to be the end of it, apparently. But the actor told the writer, he was like, what if that's not where we ended the movie? So this is how it ends. At the last moment, he goes to make himself throw up. And as he's about to make himself throw up, boom, something in him shifts. So he goes from like, and he calmly gets up and he goes into the living room and he starts kissing Nikki. And as this is happening, you see a broken One Wish willow on the ground. And they're there being all lovey dovey with each other, sitting on a couch cuddling. And it's a few seconds later, he starts coughing and he's overdosing. And she's freaking out. She's like, no, 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 no. He dies. She picks up the gun. She's about to end her own life. And just as she's about to kill herself, his wish breaks because he's dead. And the real Nikki is left there. She shoves him into the floor. She sees all three of her dead friends. We assume she has seen all of this. If she hasn't seen all this, wherever her real self has been, it's been torture. And just the movie ends with her ear shattering screams. It is haunting. So, yeah, that is my thoughts on the movie. I went into a little more detail, not super explicit, made some bullet points. Um, really enjoying making these kind of movie reviews. I love movies, I love talking about them. If you have any thoughts, tell me what you thought about the movie. Tell me what I may have missed or gotten wrong about my thoughts on the movie. Please feel free to drop a comment, like, uh, and if you want to see more, I'm set up to be doing a lot more of this. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Obsession. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, take care, have fun, keep rowing forward, and I'll see you on the next adventure.